What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Project Manga Podcast, where we cover One Piece, My Hero, Black Clover, Mashle, Dr. Stone, and Jujutsu Kaisen week to week. Back this week covering Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 26. I'm your host, Eagle.
And I'm Nickums.
And as always, before we get started, we'd like you to take a look in the description box down below where you can find links to all of our individual social media accounts, such as Twitter, online communities like Discord, links to listen to the podcast wherever you would normally listen to podcasts, as well as ways to support the show through looking at our online shop and our Patreon. And with all that said, also timestamps down there. Sorry about that. Timestamps you can use to navigate through the video and skip spoilers if you need to. Now, with all that said, this is a fire-ass weekend jump.
Yo. Hoo-hoo.
So good. This Jujutsu Kaisen chapter.
Oh my.
Had me shook when I was reading it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like, we might as well just get right into it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Chapter 150 of Jujutsu Kaisen, Perfect Preparation Part 3. And I love this color embossed panel that we get. This is the continuation from last chapter. Let's get started with Ogi's fucking dome.
Yes!
Lopped off.
And yo, look at the guns on Maki. Like, you can see like her muscle definition. Like, she's looking
biceps,
so swole. She's about to murder everyone.
For real,
with
yeah.
those guns.
Maki looks so hard body. And then we go right into this pretty ass cover spread too. The color cover. Yeah. Maki and Mai.
Very interesting color choice, like kind of a muted, but still color, you know what I mean? Almost
like post-life or like angelic, like in a way, like I don't know. I took it as very like serene and peaceful.
Yes. Yep.
Whimsical. And like it's obviously not the life they live, right? So it's just, I don't know, it's a nice juxtaposition to how things really are.
Right. And one thing I noticed in this color spread is that like they're holding hands, right? And Maki is holding Mai's hand with her right hand, and that's the same hand she's holding the Mai sword with.
Oh, yo.
Yeah.
The name, I feel like the name of the sword is going to be Mai.
Yeah, it basically has to be, right? Like, she actually talks to it and says, like, Mai, like, let's do this shit, you know what I mean? So it basically is.
And someone pointed out to me when I was looking at this that Maki's ear is gone, which I had not noticed before.
Oh, wow. I did not notice it either. That is wild. Yeah, I mean, if you get burned that badly, you ain't got no ear, for sure. For sure.
She's like a turtle now. She just got the hole in the side of her.
Oh, no. Turtle. So mean.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
And we go right into this. They're ringing the alarm bell like, yo, Maki's going crazy. We got to go deal with this chick.
Yeah. And I love that the dude is like, oh, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, Ogi's dead, but, like, if he's sleeping or, like, on the shitter or something, like, sure, yeah, I guess Maki could, like, maybe kill him or whatever. Like, sneak up on him, you know? It's like, little do you know. Little do you know, guy.
For real, he was on guard.
God.
I feel like Junichi knew, though, because he's like, Ogi. Damn.
Sure. He kind of thought like maybe he's not the type to get caught off guard, right? So like he probably got washed. It's like, ooh, man.
Yeah, man. Now he was like, she killed him?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Man.
I thought it was interesting seeing this though. I think we've known about them for a while, but this Kukuru unit, the Zeni males who don't possess cursed energy are like required to join.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And then I thought it was even more hype that Maki being a female, just like so hard body and skilled that they're like, we gotta have her in the unit.
Yep.
Like, we gotta.
Right. And
oh, man.
Interesting, it's called like the Kukuru unit. It reminds me of in Hunter, right? The Kukuru Mountain, you know, where Killua lives or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But super interesting. And I feel like this, the Zenin males are like forced to join this group or whatever. I feel like that plays into the fact that the Zenin clan is very much like authoritarian, right? Like everyone's kind of forced to help the family. If you didn't want to, too fucking bad. Like you're in the army or whatever, you know what I mean? And
you're in the motherfucking unit.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And then we got the Kill Bill scene. We got the scene with everyone around.
That's what everyone was saying in the chat in the stream. They were like, yo, all I can hear right now is the Kill Bill siren just fucking crazy, bro.
Right.
And this going into this scene, like we get another cool like inner monologue
Mm-hmm.
with Maki in here, like remembering some dialogue between her and Naoya,
Mm-hmm.
Mai,
Mm-hmm.
different shit, different memories, and then the quote just destroy everything.
Yes.
And this eye,
Mm-hmm.
like when I was reading it, I was like, yo, this eye
Mm-hmm.
tells me that the next page is gonna be insane.
Yeah,
Like
and it
she's about
was.
to activate.
Yeah.
And like the choreography through this scene
You
was
can literally follow every single panel, every single thing. You can follow it. It is definitely like fast, super fast paced, right? Like it
yeah,
definitely is not easy, like completely easy to follow it. But if you look closely, if you like really look at the panels, like
yeah,
you can definitely follow every single sword slash, places where she like drops the sword or switches hands, you know what I mean? And oh man, beautiful.
yeah,
So hype.
for real. Like
Oh
in
man.
this top of page 12, I'm pretty sure on the previous page she like sticks, I don't know. Yeah, in the middle of page 12, she sticks her swords in one dude's head and one dude's back. And I think she just leaves it in.
Yeah,
Because in the
because
next page, yeah, she just has one sword, just a
right.
my sword.
Right. And like the in that page 12, that middle panel or whatever, that's a dude. So if you look at the top of 12, the guy behind her, there's that clomp, right? Clomp.
Yep.
That dude is stepping up and he's got a knife in his right hand. He's slashing with the knife in the middle panel and she like ducks under it. You can see her leg under the knife in that middle panel. Meanwhile, she like literally like kicks this dude's neck broken. Oh man.
Pink just
Oh
fucking cracked his shit, yo.
shit. We
And I
got like
just
the
noticed,
Toji stab on the top of 13, like the multiple stab, do do do, you know what I mean? Or
yeah.
like when Choso was fighting Yuji or whatever, right? Like the I just love that multiple stab, like
Well, that's
shit.
interesting that you bring that up too, because that's like the same place that he stabbed Gojo.
Mm.
Like right in the thigh pelvic area, you know?
That's a
And then
major
she
artery.
just
That's like one of the easiest places to bleed out if you're cut there, I
yeah.
think.
And then she just rips it out of his like pelvis, like oh my god.
If I saw that happen, I'd be
But
like, all right, I'm out. Bye.
I'm done. I'm done. Or even this, like at the bottom of page 11, like when she stabs the dude in his face and
Yeah.
then uses the fucking torque from
Jets.
the blade
Yeah.
to just tear it up out of his dome. Like that shit is crazy.
Uh,
The
wild.
funniest
Oh.
thing to me though is this dude that got his hands chopped off on the first page of
The first
action. He's
one.
just like,
It's like,
oh,
oh no.
yo,
Call
oh
me
man,
Chisaki. Oh
just
man.
and it's so good how this dude comes in like, oh, how'd it go? And they're just all slaughtered,
Yeah.
just fucking done for.
Mm-hmm. Super interesting. This Chojuro. I don't think we've ever seen a technique like this. You know what I mean? Like this kind of rock
Yeah, like
arms.
earth bending type
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Earthbending or whatever. Very interesting. Super badass. I mean, shoot. I don't know. Like, it is wild. Like, dude even comments right. Like, how did Maki get hit with that and just nothing,
yeah,
no damage? You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Like, so Chojuro is the older dude,
Yeah, he
right,
has
with
like a
the mohawk.
mohawk. Looks like kind of like a fish to me.
I wish we would have gotten a little more exposition on their abilities because, like, this is a really interesting one.
Right.
And now he's like dead, obviously, got his throat torn out or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the hell happened. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
just unfortunate, man.
I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you. It'd be nice to get like maybe one panel of exposition kind of explaining the technique, just so we know more about the magic system. You know what I mean? I think we can assume that this is not. I mean, obviously, this dude is a Zenin clan member, right? But I would say this is not a quote unquote Zenin clan technique, right? It's nothing to do with
Yeah,
shadows. It's nothing to do with Shikigami or
blood.
anything like that.
Yeah,
So, but if you imagine like you can marry outside the clan, you know what I mean? So like this could
mhm,
be this dude, his parents was like one Zenin and one person not Zenin clan, and that's how he inherited that technique was from outside the clan, which is probably why it's like a rock technique or whatever, completely
yeah.
unrelated to the normal Zenin type techniques or whatever. But on the other hand, like as much as I would like, you know, a little exposition about these guys' techniques, I mean, they're all dead now, so I mean,
They're all
you're
dead
never gonna
now.
see
Yeah,
them
so it
again
doesn't really
anyway.
matter. I mean, really, the main exposition would be on this eye ability. I want to know what the hell this thing was doing,
Yo, yes,
especially since the art in the middle of the chapter like changed really drastically.
it's just so I think Gege spent so much time on the double spread, like the color spreads, and also the huge action throughout the entire chapter that he just didn't have time, to finish. And this is the kind of thing you see a lot in Black Clover, right? Or you saw a lot in Hunter back in the day. It gets cleaned up before the volume is released. So we won't see this in the actual release, but it's kind of cool to see like the rough draft. You know what I mean? Like getting into the sketchy art style before it gets like cleaned up. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, Maki like literally like dropping the sword, right? So she's like slashing at this dude on 17, and then she drops the sword and literally rips both these dudes' throats out with two hands. Like, oh my god.
Just fucking, oh man. They're like, oh, she's fast. Oh. But this dude's eye ability is still just really haunting me. Like, I want to know what it is.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
I want to know. Like, does that hold her still?
Yeah, I think so. And she's so strong. That it like broke the quote unquote, psychic ability or whatever this is, right? Like he's using like, obviously it's a curse technique. It's not like psychic shit, but like he's basically using his mind to lock her down. And it's obviously based on the eyes, right? There's these eyes behind her on 18. And she's like pushing into the eyes on 20. It's
breaking them. Yeah.
Is she literally, are those eyes there that she can see? Can she see those floating eyes? Is she physically touching those eyes, or is it symbolic in the sense that she's kind of flexing, pushing to move, and it's just cracking the ability, breaking the ability, aka, but then it goes directly to his eyes, and now his eyes are like exploding because
bleeding.
Yeah. Whew. And I love this this line from this dude, right, on 20, where Ranta is this guy's name. The current Zenin clan exists because of Master Toji's whim. You must have noticed, like, she has become the same as him. We have to kill her right here, right now. You know what I mean? It's like, that is so badass, because Toji is obviously such a phenomenal, like, badass character. And it's like, I love just him saying, like, flat out, like, if he wanted it to be, like, we would all been wiped out. So the only reason we didn't get wiped out is because he didn't care to do so. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, shit. And now that Maki does want to do so, you gotta,
and also in a way,
her.
because, like, that does make sense what you said. And also, like, there's a second meaning to it, I think, because he did make an agreement with the Gojo.
Yeah, and now Naobito or whatever.
Raise Megumi up and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And now Megumi's the head of the clan. So in a way, that is also like the current head of the Zenin clan. Because of Toji's whim. Like, this dude's controlling our shit past the grave.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great point. Great point.
But yeah, then we get Jinichi's ability, which is just like
fists falling from the sky, like meteor fists.
Yo. That shit was bad. I thought it was just like an illustration technique to like show how fast he was punching.
Mm-hmm.
And like with kind of like killing intent, but like it shook me when it was really big ass fist coming down with like rocket propulsion behind him. Like,
right. And if you look on 22, like there's craters all over, huge craters.
Mm-hmm.
So that is pretty interesting. And again, like it would be so nice to have had a little bit of exposition about what the heck is that technique doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like,
it's super badass.
It's just meteor fist, like you said. Like, is that the technique?
Right.
I feel like it wouldn't have been very off base for Gege to just put like a little, like a box up in the top left corner of this,
like a name,
of this 21. You know what I'm saying? With a little bit of exposition on the ability, like this ability does this type shit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to know too much because obviously on the next page, this dude's fucking head is in her hand.
Ooh.
But I spent a good bit just like laughing at this shit because I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like, this dude's face looks so funny, and just the fact that his head is in her hand is just
Jinichi, his head like
his head is like comes out of the smoke holding his head like that. Maki is so badass, bro.
And I love that Ranta, he's like obviously blind now, right? She broke his technique, and therefore his eyes like ruptured, like literally ruptured, and he can't see, and he just assumes after that huge attack from Jinichi that the one person walking out of the smoke must have been Jinichi, right? But and he's like, yes, you did it. And then it's not, it's Maki. And she just like I love the sploosh.
Yep.
Just throws it into the lake or whatever.
Tosses
Oh
his head into the pond. Yeah. And so,
yeah.
well, she left this dude alive then? It looks like it,
I mean, I
right?
think he's out. I think he's out. He has no way to do anything to her. So I mean,
No.
nah.
So yeah, she's just like, you ain't shit to me.
Mm-hmm.
Naoya. I don't know
Yeah.
why Naoya is here
I
or
mean,
what he's planning to do.
I think he's planning to try and stop Maki.
Right. But like after seeing all that, like what the fuck?
Hmm. I think he thinks he's hot shit. You know what I mean? I'm sure he thinks
Yeah.
like, and everyone did, right? Like Chojiro's like, oh, I'll just use my big ass earthbending rock hands and kill you, and Ranta's like, oh, I'm just gonna lock you down with my eyeball technique, and Junichi's like, I'm just gonna use my meteor fist, and but everyone's been wrong so far, and I'm pretty sure Naoya is gonna get his ass handed to him, and I'm so here for it because this dude is a little shit.
Yeah. I'm ready for Naoya to get taken out, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I just
Mm-hmm.
love Maki's final line of the chapter. He says, "Don't how cruel. Don't you have a human heart?" And she says, "No. It was taken from me." Ah,
Yeah.
so good. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I feel like that not only like is in reference to her childhood and the way they kind of did her, but
Mm-hmm.
also like the fact that Ogi just killed Mai and
Yes.
like he's like
Yep.
he took my heart, you
Yep.
know?
That was like
No, don't.
her grounding in the
Yeah.
world, you know what I mean? Like her goal was to rework, change the Zenin clan to be a place where Mai could be happy, you know what I mean? And her whole obviously they're twins, you know what I mean? Like and yeah, like I think Mai dying definitely is taking her heart away, you know what I mean? And now and all she is like Toji, all she is a rage machine that all only wants to obliterate the Setting clan. She has no more heart. You know what I mean? Like that's not what she's here for anymore.
Man.
Whew.
And just that hollow look in her eyes at
Yeah.
the end, just or in her eye at
Yeah.
the end. So like, man, Maki is permanently blind in one eye.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
I don't know. That's disappointing to me. But even though she does look badass, the scar looks cool. But like, I was hoping she would get her eye back.
Sure.
It was like a little something. She had to keep it closed for a while, let it heal.
Right. And it could still be that way, but I think we can probably safely assume that she
Pretty
is
safely.
permanently blind in that eye.
Yeah.
I do wonder, like, I don't fully remember back to like the Toji stuff way back. You know what I mean? But like, can she sense like chi, or can she sense cursed energy now, like with even without her eyes, even if she were blind? Like is that part of the heavenly restriction? I feel like I kind of remember that Toji, even though he had no cursed energy, he could still sense it somehow.
I
um
feel like he could literally using his 5 primal senses is how he did it. Like he could
sure,
smell them
right,
type shit. Like
exactly. So I wonder, like, even if she was blind in both eyes, I feel like she would still have washed all these people, you know what I mean? Yeah.
this. Yeah, oh my god, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I had such a good time reading this chapter. I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, what the fuck? Yo, every time I turn the page, I'm just like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on? Like, especially through the middle portion, the choreography, the
Yes.
fighting part, and then
Yep.
just like, and then the when part where the hay came too.
Yeah.
Man, just so good seeing, and I just love, I don't know. I really like Toji as a character, so
Yes.
I really love seeing Maki this way, man.
Absolutely.
I've always wanted it for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It
read this
would be
chapter like 3 times over, and every single time I was still on the edge of my seat, like going, like, "Oh my god, this is crazy!"
yo, what the fuck, bro?
For me, chapter of the week. I mean, we're gonna get into
I
the other
think so
chapters,
too.
but this has to be the chapter of the week for me because
I
this
think
this
so
chapter
too,
was
yeah.
front to back straight fire. Ooh.
So gratifying just seeing
Mm-hmm.
Maki just shit on all these people. Like, fuck yeah.
I wonder. Do you think? What's your prediction for the next chapter? I mean, assuming obviously anything could happen, right? We could switch scenes to over to Yuji for all we know. You know what I mean? But assuming we continue this perfect preparation, maybe get perfect preparation part 4, say sticking with Maki, and let's just assume that we're gonna have a fight with Naoya. Do you think she's gonna just low diff him, like wash him really quick in like 2 panels, 2 pages or whatever, or do you think we're actually gonna get a big fight against Naoya? What do you think?
If I were to be honest, I think Naoya might try and negotiate his way out of this
Oh,
and
slimy.
maybe
Okay,
make a
okay.
bargain with Maki,
Yeah.
like, 'cause I just don't see Like, you just saw all the most powerful people in your clan get washed, and she
Yeah.
doesn't even have a scratch on her. Like, how could you honestly step up to this, like, "Let's go. I got you." So,
Hmm.
like, I don't know, and he seems like the type of person who would be like, "Yo, like, Dormammu, I'm here to bargain. What's up?" Like,
Will she take it though? I don't think she's gonna take it though, even if he wants to.
true, true. So, I mean, that's tough because her whole objective is just like, "Fuck all y'all, I'm destroying it."
Yeah.
But what if he's like, "Yo, I'll just bounce and you'll never see me again," type shit.
And he might be able to. His ability might let him super speed, like Naobito kind of teleport away faster than Maki can run. But what if he tries that, like runs away, and she literally runs after him just with running and just
It's
catches
just
up
like
to him?
I can see a panel where he's like like blitzes out of there, and then we're getting panels of him like thinking to himself, and then all of a sudden it's just like her like right next to him, like
Yeah.
in front of him, speed blitzed him,
Yo.
like. But yeah, I mean, it's either to me it's either gonna be a low diff on Naoya, or like he'll say some words that like
Hmm.
intrigue her or
Hmm.
something, and so
Right.
maybe we'll leave off on Maki saying like I'll hear you out, and then switch to a different perspective for a
Oh,
different
sure,
character
sure,
or something.
sure.
But
Yeah,
I don't like that. Part of me doesn't like that because I want Naoya to die.
for sure. I definitely think Naoya's gonna get his head removed from his body. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a death chapter for Naoya. But however it happens, if it's a low diff, that's gonna be hype. If it's a big
Yeah,
fight, that'll probably be hype too. You know what I mean? And I
yeah,
really doubt, even if it's a big fight, I really doubt Maki's gonna take any damage. You know what I mean? Like she's already very damaged. I think she's gotten enough damage for 50 chapters or whatever. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
whatever
I mean,
it's gonna be entertaining.
it looks like she doesn't have a scratch on her from this fight. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, no,
I
I
don't
don't
know
think
if
she took a single hit.
I don't know if she healed, like her gut wound healed,
That's
obviously.
true. I think that might have been part of my
Part of the
maybe.
my thing. Yeah,
Yeah, but you do raise a good point. Like she definitely had her guts ripped open, a nice
yeah.
big slash there, and it's like, how did
They were
that?
spilling out in that panel where Ogi was
Mm-hmm.
dragging them. They
Mm-hmm.
were spilling.
Right.
So maybe like the true heavenly restrictions like gives her some like superhuman healing capabilities, but at the same time, like, yo, when you're garroted, I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
it works like that.
Sure. Sure. Mm-hmm.
But I'm just so ready to see more from Maki.
Yes.
So ready to see more hard body Maki shit, yo.
Yep. She's definitely immensely jumped up in my character ranking. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
just being like the next coming of Toji, so hype. You know what I mean? Ooh.
yeah. And shit, her hair looks like him too, man. You got the short hair from getting burned and shit.
Mhm, mhm.
Joe, I want her to fight Jogo now. Come on back, Jogo. Jogo's dead,
Right,
obviously. I
right,
think,
right,
but
right. But if it was happened again, I think she would
she
pretty
would.
easily take him. You know what I mean?
Yo, I mean, you saw how Toji did fucking Dagon.
Doggone, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
washed his ass.
Mhm.
Shit.
Shit.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of more because I know Noxa usually goes crazy in these segments.
I mean,
But
this was a pretty action heavy chapter. I mean, a lot of it's just really intense choreography, and I think I would more invite people to just if you enjoyed the chapter, if you want to like see some beautiful examples of Gege Akutami choreography, just go back and reread like 10 through 15 or whatever, 10 through 13, and just really analyze it because it's all there. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty fantastic. But I don't really have much more to say about this chapter. I mean, it's obviously fantastic. We're loving it, but yeah.
yeah, I think yeah, you're right. It's pretty action heavy, not much exposition, not a lot
Mm-hmm.
to discuss, but just
Mm-hmm.
hype about really.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and move right into chapter 198 of Dr. Stone, Whole New World. A whole new world. Yeah, like
Yep. Definitely.
yeah.
Pretty cool chapter. I
Are
mean,
we
like touching on a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like the whole should we revive Stanley? Should we even revive Zeno? You know what I mean? And this whole kind of getting into a lot of the motivations of Y Man or whatever. Like very interesting stuff. But yeah, like even starting off with like Chrome being like
yeah,
really bumming about Kaseki, you know what I mean? Which I love, you know, because there's only
yeah,
like 17, 16 of them right now, right? They're a
yeah.
tight knit group. I mean, this old dude is like part of the family, so it makes total sense
Yeah.
for Chrome to really be bumming
And
about it.
he's the only one with his level of craftsmanship in the group. Like
Yep.
Kaseki, without Kaseki, like there's probably many times where they would have, fallen flat. I mean, obviously Senku would have probably figured it out, but
Hmm.
even in the initial, like, Kaseki had to teach Senku a lot of stuff about the glass blowing and shit,
Right.
or even just show him how it was supposed to be done. Maybe not so much teach him, but
Hmm.
he would just be like, "Oh," like, Kaseki is such a gangster. I've loved Kaseki since the beginning.
Right. For
Especially the
sure.
first time you see him bust out of his clothes all buff and
Yeah.
shit, and he's like, "Oh, let's go." But yeah, we're just kind of like the first few pages is really just kind of rehashing this last moment from the last chapter.
Right.
And Chrome's like, "Oh, that's dope. Kaseki doesn't have to die."
Hmm.
And he's like, "Well, this Y man, he might not be all that bad."
Right.
But I don't know if I'm buying that.
I actually have a kind of interesting theory about Y Man here, right? Because like, as we go forward in the chapter, they kind of Senku mentions that to Zeno, right? That like Y Man isn't saying 128,000 miles 1 second anymore, right? He's done saying that, which means all he really wants to do is freeze humans, and once they're frozen, like he's got better shit to do or something, you know what I mean? Or he can just turn the recording off. So like my kind of theory about this, and because also Chrome did start this concept of, is Y-Man even a villain, right? So then I was thinking, what if Y-Man is a good guy, right? Say, maybe using bad means, right? Obviously, freezing everyone in the whole world is kind of extreme bad means or whatever. But
Yep.
what if he's, especially because now we know that the Medusa maybe can heal people, even maybe keep people alive indefinitely, but then they mention in the chapter that if you do that, it might go very poorly, right? Everyone's going to get really old. There's going to be like one tyrant running everything. So what if Y-Man is literally trying to keep everyone frozen, to keep them alive until he can figure out how to keep everyone young too? And like not just immortal, but like immortal and you don't need to eat or something, right? So he's trying to like perfect immortality. But in the meantime, he can't have people messing things up. He can't have people blowing up the planet. He can't have people aging and dying. They need to be frozen until he's done, right? And then the other thing I was thinking in that regard is, imagine Y-Man and how crazy he might be applying the Dr. Stone, in the sense of your Senku, right? Say with Suika, right? It took her a year to make nitric acid for the revival fluid. What if you were a scientist who could literally turn things to stone, and obviously he knows how to unturn things into stone? You set up an experiment. This experiment's going to take me a week. All right, I'm going to go in this chamber, time revival fluid to go in a week, freeze myself. 1 week passes. The revival fluid unfreezes me. The experiment's done. I literally just did a 1 week experiment in a blink of an eye, right?
Yeah.
He can just freeze himself until the experiment's ready to continue. Thereby, he can almost do science. If you take away the fact that time is passing, I mean, who cares if time is passing, right? Like, he's immortal, kind of. He keeps putting himself to stone, undoing himself, you know what I mean? So he can basically do any amount of experiments that take any amount of time instantaneously.
Yeah.
He can control time essentially just by going only forward. You know what I mean? So like, there's a huge potential, I think, for Y-Man to actually be even more advanced than we even think. You know what I mean? And maybe even a good guy.
That is definitely interesting as hell.
Yeah. And I feel like this chapter is like setting up a lot of these things. You know what I mean? Where Chrome, say on page 3, right? Chrome is suggesting maybe Y-Man's not even bad. I mean, like the Dr. Stone.
Well, dude, at this point.
Right.
Y-Man is fucking future Senku, man.
I mean, that'd be wild.
Time traveled, old as fuck, future Senku, like trying to figure out how to keep everyone alive or some shit. I don't know.
Right. That would definitely be getting us into super science fiction, right? Like, where obviously this is science fiction, right? There's no such thing as a thing that just turns everyone in the whole world to stone. But if you set that aside, you could make revival fluid. You can make fuel out of corn, and you can build rubber, make tires and shit. Like, this is all just science, you know what I mean? But like, if you get into time travel, that's definitely get into the fiction aspect, which would be tight.
Right.
Definitely be tight.
Yeah. I mean, it's stayed more rooted than that up until this point, so maybe it won't go that direction. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, and I know you guys kind of said that. I can't remember what you guys said last week about how the transmission sounded like Senku's voice that one time.
I think it always has. It always Y-Man sounds like Senku.
Yeah, and so I'm like, that just always lingers in the back of my head. Like, why the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so ready for this moon shit. Like, as weird as it is, you know, and as out of place as it seems somehow,
Hmm.
I'm so ready to go to the moon, man. Like, I just want to learn about this Y-Man shit. Like, I want to know who this motherfucker is.
Right. Yeah, I wonder how
But
fast it's going to happen too, because like I think before we got kind of that map where it's like, all right, we're going to go to America and get corn for fuel and shit, and then we're going to go to Brazil and we're going to get all these super alloys. And I feel like there were other places on the planet that were like, we're going to go here for this and there for that, you know what I mean? And are we still going to go there, or now have we just started, nope, we're going to go straight to the moon kind of thing, right? Like
yeah,
skip some steps in terms of, is this going to be a 500 chapter manga or a 300 chapter manga? You know what I mean? Or
yeah.
250. Very interesting.
I just like, okay, so when they were reviving Zeno,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, man, I don't know if this is a good idea.
Right.
I don't think he knows how to make the revival fluid yet still. Does he?
I don't. He didn't for a while, for sure.
Yeah,
But I mean, it's written down on a piece of paper. I mean, and I feel like
right,
Zeno could figure it out. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? They're gonna
right.
do rocket science now, but
Yeah,
that's just chemistry. So I feel like he could figure it out if anyone could. So I don't know. Like
yeah,
it is definitely. I think everyone assumes that he could betray them and revive Stanley if he wanted to.
yeah,
But the I think part of what this chapter is kind of saying, say on go to page 5, right?
yep,
Where Senku is literally reviving him and like they're like talking to him in the moment like, "Hey, is this a good idea, right?" And Senku says on the top left panel of 5, he says, "I don't know, guys. It ain't so much about muscles and weapons anymore. Because if you can revive Hyoga from the dead, right? Who cares if Stanley is a gun, right? We'll just freeze
right.
him. Freeze whoever he tries to kill and revive him again. Like, they'll be fine." So muscle doesn't even matter anymore. Guns don't even matter anymore, theoretically.
Yeah,
There's still implications that they get into later, right? Where it's like, if you tell people that immortality is a thing, then they might start wilding. You know what I mean? Like,
and they're going crazy. Yeah,
right, right. So you gotta keep it a secret a little bit. But Zeno knows, he's looking ahead on the chessboard. You know what I mean? Like, if I do revive Stanley, what's it really gonna buy me? You know what I mean?
mhm. I'm
But we'll
just
see.
wondering, like, Zeno has to be aware on an even higher level
Hmm.
than Senku while he's frozen because he comes right out of the fucking stone.
Right.
Like the light of immortality, how truly elegant, violating the natural order with nefarious signs, but they didn't say any of that shit explicitly after he got unpetrified.
Right.
And so like he can hear him?
I don't know, man. Either the
What?
dialogue was off screen, or you're right. It's one of those two, right? It has to be that that they told him off panel. We just didn't see the dialogue happen,
Yeah.
or he has more awareness than everyone else when he's frozen. I think that's definitely a possibility given this chapter.
Yeah.
I would like to think it's
Although
the
although
former that
the
they did
off
have an off
panicle,
screen conversation, but who knows,
yeah.
right?
Oh, imagine an unending world. But yeah,
Mm-hmm. Keeping it real.
Sukasa really laid it out, man. He kept it real. Like,
He always has been that guy, right? From chapter 1 or whatever chapter he was introduced, right? Like he's always been that guy who's like, I don't know, man. People are shitty,
yeah,
honestly,
people are fucking shitty. Hell yeah. And when reading his dialogue and like seeing all these statues of these old people, like it really was pretty haunting. Like, oh
Mm-hmm.
fuck, he's right. Damn.
Yeah. Especially, have you seen Gurren Lagann?
Mm-mm.
It's one of those old Trigger animes, like super extreme, wild action and stuff like that. You should definitely
Yeah.
watch it because it's really good. It's only 24 episodes or whatever, 26,
Yeah.
24, something like that. Anyway, like the beginning, the very, very beginning, it's not a big spoiler or anything, right? And I'm sure everyone listening has heard it. But if you've not heard it, I don't know, skip 10 seconds or something. But that's literally like one of the scenes is like there's this town where there's only so many resources and there's a dude who runs it and it's like he's picking who dies, you know what I mean? Because like there's only so many resources in the village or in this case on the planet, right? So that can definitely happen. Like this dystopia, this is definitely something that you got to be watching out for when you have this immortality shit, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, tyrant plays God and chooses who must be purged via eternal petrification. That shit.
Yeah.
I was like, damn.
Right.
Fuck.
Even obviously this is not going to happen, but even I mean maybe this will be like a debate within the characters, but like Senku, if he were bad, right, he could maybe say to Kaseki like, "Yo, Kaseki, you have to stay frozen. We need you, but not right now, right? We'll revive you when we need you to build something, right?
Yeah.
Until then, you're old. We're going to keep you frozen until later, right? A bad guy could do that, and maybe Zeno will try and argue doing that to some people to conserve food or something. A lot of these questions are kind of like, I mean, there's no need to conserve food. They're in the Amazon. There's fruit everywhere. You know what I mean? Or animals everywhere.
Right.
There's tons of nature, so there's no need for food or water. There with only 17 people, right? But these are the exact kind of questions that lead to this like dystopia that Tsukasa is talking about for sure.
Yeah. Oh. And Zeno. He's just like, man, you knew all this shit could happen and you loop me in all the same, knowing how fucked up I am? What the fuck are you talking about? But so he gives him the earpiece. Is that just to show him that the signal's dead?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I thought that might have been like a leash in some way.
Nope.
But,
He's just literally saying like, look, like Y-Man is no longer trying to freeze us. I think the implication being he thinks everyone is frozen.
Yeah.
Right now. If he thought that they weren't frozen, he'd still be trying to freeze them. But since he's pretty confident that everyone just got frozen on the whole planet, that he's like, okay, I'm good. I can turn off my recording or whatever kind of thing. I guess, you know, that's kind of how I'm reading it.
That's wild.
This panel on 10, right? Like, Y-Man is hell bent on petrifying everyone as long as humans are alive on Earth. So, if he's not trying to do it, it means he thinks everyone is petrified on Earth.
Yeah. Damn.
On page 11, bottom panel, you can see that they actually have all of Stanley's soldiers, all of Zeno's soldiers frozen. It's not just Stanley that they have. You see that?
Yep.
Yeah. Because I first noticed it because on page 14, skipping ahead a little bit, right? Like they're kind of really focusing on Stanley, but on 14, in kind of this like
some others.
There's like one dude like standing like next to Stanley, and I was like, who the hell is that guy? And then I had to go back. It's like, oh, okay, that's just another one of the soldiers or whatever.
I love that page 14 though, that double spread on 14 and 15 where you see that he lit the cigarette and put it in his mouth. That I love moments like that of camaraderie and shit, man.
And Zeno throwing on the jacket. Zeno joins the squad.
Yeah. Zeno, I'm hyped for Zeno.
Yeah.
I like Zeno. I've always liked Zeno a lot. Just his character, even though he is kind of a bastard. I've always liked his character and just the dynamic that he brings. And when he gets all goofy like Senku, they start doing science and shit. That shit is mad funny.
I did think it was super funny on 16, right, where they first start doing science together again or whatever, right? Like they're literally writing shit down and they're looking at the page like, oh, holy shit! Like what are they surprised about exactly? Like, oh my god, you forgot to carry the 2. Ah.
Hell yeah.
Pretty funny.
It's taken 10 years, 3,700 years. And I also felt the panel of Zeno thinking back to Senku as a child when he was mentoring him kind of.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I always should have been on this kid's side.
Yeah.
It's like, this was my pupil, man.
Yeah, that definitely could be, and we'll see how much they bond as they start working together. You know what I mean? Because obviously, so far it's been a very adversarial relationship. Zeno trying to basically to like make them captured and killed by Stanley. So like it'll be interesting if they like, eventually warm up to each other or whatever, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I think Zeno has a soft spot for sure for Senku.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, if he
I
has a
was
soft spot for Stanley, I think he can have a soft spot for anyone. You know what I mean? He's not a heartless monster for sure.
I just think back to the panel that we got. It was a lot of chapters ago, but when Zeno was having his flashback to when he met Senku the one time in real life,
Hmm.
Senku's like looking at the rocket and he doesn't even say anything. He just walks up on side of him and they just stand together.
Yeah.
You get that like double page spread of them both just like admiring the rocket and shit.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh man. I just remember that panel bringing a tear to my eye. And I'm
Hmm.
like, now this is really satisfying for me seeing them actually work together.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And they basically told him, like, yeah, you're going to work with us and we'll eventually unpetrify your mans. And we won't kill him for
Hmm.
fucking murder.
Hmm. Yeah.
Attempted murder. We won't put him in jail. All right, we'll just let him go.
Right. But you got to work for us. You got to make us a
Hmm.
rocket. You know what I mean? Great trade for sure.
Yeah.
This last double spread of like the diagram of the
Yep.
building a rocket. This is like so wild and complex. Like there's arrows leading into things that lead back into, like, for example, there's an arrow from fucking, let's see, oil to computer, and then there's an arrow from computer to engine. There's an arrow from, you know what I mean? Like it's back and forth everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Engine goes to liquid oxygen producer, goes to aluminum, goes back to engine. It's as if like they're going to make a baby engine, like a basic engine, and that will help them make a liquid oxygen producer, which will help them make aluminum. And using aluminum, maybe they'll make a new version of the engine that's like lighter and more sturdy or something, right? So it's like feeding back on itself over
Yeah.
and over again. And like this, I love this, like like you see like a level 1 rocket engine, and then it's like, all right, now we got to level that shit up to level 99, like the highest possible, because this is like, even today, 2021, you know what I mean? There's still a lot of people trying to do a space program, and a lot of people can't do it. You know what I mean? This is one of the
Yeah.
hardest scientific problems mankind has ever faced, and so
Yeah.
it makes sense that this is level 99 science shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Level 99 science shit. I didn't even notice that at first that all these arrows are going crazy because yeah, like oil goes to computer, liquid oxygen producer, aluminum, and high power dynamite.
Yeah, high power dynamo.
And
Yeah.
then dynamo. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
not dynamite. Yeah, it's just wild now realizing just all the ways these arrows go.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Hmm.
That's I've always loved these diagrams from Dr. Stone, man. These are so just fun to look at
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
better for understanding the scientific process. I remember early in the manga when they would just throw a wall of text at you, like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. This definitely helps you see the pieces fitting together, and it's exactly why Suika, eventually did draw herself a diagram. It really helps just to like lay everything out. You know what I mean? Like, okay, we'll need a computer. Even the first moon mission, that spaceship had a computer in it. You know what I mean? A super basic computer, because that was a long time ago. The early
And the
early
computer
'60s
would
or
have been
whatever.
as big as the fucking spaceship.
Yeah, I'm not sure how big it is. It would have to have been small. You know what I mean? Because any weight you add to a spaceship makes it way
Yeah.
more difficult to launch it. You know what I mean? You need more fuel, and all the fuel you have also weighs it down. Um, so it's a super complicated process. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Obviously.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see where we're gonna go. And
Hmm.
just if they do successfully build a rocket and if we do get to the moon, I'm gonna be so happy.
Oh,
Let's go.
oh, I guess you don't know we're gonna get there. It is very wild to imagine a bunch of people, a bunch of just bros on the surface of the
Bunch
earth,
of
just like
cavemen, yeah.
let's just make a spaceship. Let's just go up there. You know what I mean? Let's go talk to Y Man himself. No big deal.
But Senku and Zeno, you know what I'm saying? They're a little more than just bros. They're like master scientists of the
Yes,
highest
yes.
order. So
Hmm.
it's definitely possible, but it is hard to imagine like Stone Age motherfuckers just like, yep, let's build a rocket and go up to the moon. Like, okay.
Hmm.
And
We'll
all
get
the
there.
technology that needs to go into even like you have to build spacesuits.
Yep.
You have to build
Yep.
like compressed oxygen tanks that'll keep you alive in space. Like you have to have these pressurized seal suits that you have. Oh, it's just so much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be a trip for sure.
It almost makes me think they'll hit a roadblock,
Sure.
or maybe get, forced into another course of action. Like, I wonder if any of these things, because I know, like you said, they needed to go around to some different places to get different resources to like accomplish what they wanted to.
Right.
And so now I'm wondering if some of these might be inaccessible where they are. They might have to travel to a different place or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
And
would not surprise me. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I would think maybe especially with some of these like alloys, like the super alloys, like these different kinds of metals, that usually tends to be a pretty regional thing, right? Where you can find certain metals and
Mm-hmm. But
yeah.
they currently are where they thought the super alloys would be. Like
Oh yeah,
the
Super Alloy City. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's where they're at now. So
Yeah.
hopefully they'll have all the alloys they need. But I don't know if there's other stuff in other areas of the country that they don't currently have, you know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
definitely possible for sure.
Well,
Yeah, that's all
I
I
think
have for
that's
this chapter.
about all I had for Darker Stone. Well, with that, I think we can go ahead and move right into chapter 64 of Mashle, Dope, Lance, and How Babies Are Made.
I don't think we
This
actually
is a
learned how
fun.
babies are made, but
No.
maybe how some babies are made.
Yeah. Maybe how babies are made in this instance. I want
Right.
to know. Like, it was curious how Margaret wasn't involved in any of this sequence except for like the first panel when she's casting a spell.
Right. I also wonder
She's just,
like how is she casting magic? I thought her wand was broken by
yeah.
Mash like 2 chapters ago, 3 chapters ago.
I think
Um,
maybe like it was that one spell, right? She was like, "You to cancel this spell, you have to break my wand."
that could be for sure.
I think she can cast more like rudimentary spells, probably still, but
Mhm.
nothing too crazy.
Could be, could be. I
But yeah,
definitely that
that is a
definitely
good point.
made me do a double take. It's like, what? I thought you were knocked out for the
Oh,
count
you were out
here.
of here.
Right.
Yeah,
Generally, I
but
kind of
yeah,
thought this chapter. I mean, it was funny, but I kind of feel like the chapter is mostly just like filler in a way. You know?
like it's not a lot really. Like, I mean, I don't know. This baby ability is interesting, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right. Like, this person kind of got dealt with in pretty quick fashion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like by the end of the chapter, they're not babies anymore. Like, it
Right.
seems like this person is out of there.
Mm-hmm. We
Uh,
do have this person introduce
Sitter baby.
this. Yeah, sitter baby. They introduce the 6 criminal canes.
hmm
Um, kind of a juxtaposition as opposed to the divine visionaries. They're all canes, right? There's like the sand cane and the fire
Yep.
cane
The
and all this
yeah.
stuff. So the criminal canes, that's cool. I mean, good to have like some exposition on that. There's another group, or at least under Innocent Zero, um, of just naming the group or whatever, naming this other tier of villains. But yeah, besides that, I mean, yeah, baby time. I don't know. Dot goo goo gaga. Trying to use
Yeah,
magic, can't do it. Cool that
I
Lance
did.
still even could like still use his magic, especially when the sitter baby was like, "Oh yeah, you only have 1/10 of your magic now because you're a baby," and it's like, "All right, well I'll just make
He
my
just
thing 10 times
concentrated that
concentrated."
one. Yeah, he just concentrated that 1/10 of his shit and boom on a
Hmm.
little area.
Yeah, that was
That's
tight.
this person is weak as hell if that takes him out though. Like,
That's even what this person said, right? Like on page 16, Dote said like, no doubt he was up against some tough magic. I mean, the caster was such a wuss that it balanced out, but still.
dope, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like there's like, God, there's honestly not a lot to talk about with
Mm-hmm.
this chapter because you're right. I mean, a lot of it was just this baby filler shit, like Lance flexing his ability to still do it, and then we get this cool dialogue from who is this? This Fire Cane?
This is the Fire Cane. Yeah, I forget their name, but
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
But they're like, oh, rarely you'll find those with talents that defy their age, and it's funny that he's a baby while he's
Yeah,
saying that
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't expect any less from Easton.
Mm-hmm.
Easton is
The school.
the school, yes, yes.
Yeah,
And the it's Lang, Orca,
and Adler.
Adler, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're Adler. These guys or whatever. Lance
Yeah, and then
and Dot.
I just feel like, man, what the fuck are we supposed to talk
It's
about?
just mostly just humor. I mean, like, yep, that's pretty funny. Like, you throw a rattle and the babies go after the rattle. That was funny the first time. It was also funny the second time when Lance, when you think Lance is like hard bodied enough that he's like, I'm not even a baby. I'm not gonna fall for that shit. And he's like, no, I did fall for
Need
it.
more self control.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And even the very ending, right, with Mash and Cell War, it's literally like almost the exact same joke as last chapter of like, you forgot me for real. But I mean,
Yeah.
good to do a slightly different joke, right? Of like, seriously, you actually forgot me? And it's like, I'm so
like,
sorry.
I'm so sorry.
hmm
And then Cell War just looks just flabbergasted.
Yeah.
He's just like, what? The
Just dumbfounded.
disrespect.
The disrespect is high.
Man, okay, so I'm really hoping the next chapter we go back into like the serious shit. Like,
hmm
I don't know if it just, yeah, and it does feel really just kind of tossed in there, doesn't it? Like,
hmm
why would this person not have been introduced sooner as a serious person pulling up to the conflict, like one of the six Canes, like
Right,
the
right.
fact that they just come out of nowhere like, oh, babies, and then get fucking knocked out like in the same chapter is like
hmm
a little off-putting.
Yeah, definitely. Always weird to have a quote unquote major villain be introduced and dispatched and taken care of in the very, very same chapter. Always a little jarring
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely. Like,
And it's possible that maybe the writer just needed a week to think more, right? And kind of had this ability in the back pocket. Like, I really kind of don't know exactly how I want to approach the next chapter. I'm sure they already have like many chapters kind of written in their mind, you know what I mean? But maybe trying to just spend a little extra time perfecting the next couple chapters.
yeah,
And so, okay, let's throw in this baby magic and have a nice comedy chapter. Just give me some time, you know what I mean? Like 1 week of quote unquote filler, because that's what it feels like, right? Like we're never, apparently now, never going to see this baby magic again. We're never going to see this dude again. I mean, maybe, right? Maybe the person will get rescued by Innocent Zero and we'll see them later, but then the joke is going to be gone. You know what I mean? It's going to be a stale joke if you
yeah.
return to it again. So it's, yeah, we'll see.
Seems like, yeah, this person is a one and done,
hmm
which is unfortunate, but at the same time, it's whatever because fuck this person.
hmm
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm really just trying to like I'm going back and forth over the chapter, trying to like figure out maybe something that hints at something later on, or I don't know. I just can't really find nothing to talk about.
Right, right. In all, just a nice little comedy chapter.
Nice little breathing week.
hmm
Give us a little comedic relief and get us a little more hype and shit for. I think that's really what it is. It's like a hype tool,
hmm
because everybody wants to see what's about to happen with Mash, what's about to happen with Wahlberg,
Sure.
and so it's like getting this chapter. You're kind of like, come on, let's hurry up and get to fucking Mash. Come on, I'm ready. You know,
Are you saying
I'm,
it's
I'm
like you're watching TV? I don't know, American Idol. And it's like we're gonna announce the winner right after this commercial break. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like we're gonna
yeah. This
we're
is
gonna
the
get to Mash
commercial
versus
break,
Cell War, and we're gonna get to Wahlberg versus Innocent Zero right after this filler chapter.
right? Yeah,
It's like, damn it.
fuck Komoto.
hmm
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly too, this Cell War person had some type of healing ability where like I don't know. I remember Mosh kicking him in the face and they weren't too affected by it.
Yeah, I feel like this person, from my memory, like they have. It seems like they have multiple kinds of magic. Because remember they were like
Hmm.
floating, they're like
Yeah,
floating, and then they have this kind of
yeah.
their main magic seems to be this kind of black carbon fiber, it's just like really hard rock or whatever. Um, and I feel like they might have also potentially had a couple other magics, or like it was unclear how they were doing certain things because it didn't seem to match up with their main magic. And maybe one of those was healing. I don't really fully remember. Certainly Mash obliterated this dude's face.
Or was it the damage reflection?
Damage reflection, maybe.
Was that I thought I remembered there being a damage reflection ability. This might have been his, and it
hmm
kind of would be fitting with the thorny crown or whatever. But
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, I definitely remember having that conversation of the crown and damage and or something along those lines for sure. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Hmm.
I guess we'll see going forward. We'll learn about it next chapter. I
Hmm.
think that's really all I had for this chapter.
Yeah, that's all I had as well.
As unfortunate as it is for the
Hmm.
Mashle fans out there, it's like, what are we supposed to talk about? I guess bring something up in the chapter in the
Yeah,
comment section that we might have missed, or
yeah.
if you found something more interesting in the chapter to expound upon.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
please do.
I think with that we can go ahead and move right into chapter 294 of Black Clover,
Hmm.
as promised.
Yo.
And this just beginning sequence of this chapter, this first few pages, first
Hmm.
couple pages was really nice for me because
Yeah, feel
I was
good.
looking forward to this moment. This Asta and Luck, like, yo, you just fucking took Dante. All like, yo, good
Hmm.
shit. Hell yeah, super gratifying because I've been a very big advocate of Magna for the longest time,
Hmm.
and at least between our conversations between us four, I feel I've been one of the most disappointed at the fact that he's been left to the wayside. I've
Yep.
always wanted Magna to show back up. Like,
Yes.
where the fuck is Magna?
Hmm.
And to see him really just come in clutch in a way like this, man,
Hmm.
it feels so good.
Right. No, absolutely. And I like that Asta even said, like, Captain Yami and I worked together, and we only barely managed to beat this guy, right? So, just exactly as we were talking, I think last week or whatever, right? That Magna is really did a fucking feat, you know what I mean, to
Yeah,
1v1 Dante. Very, very impressive. And even Noct is impressed.
yeah. Even Jack is like, yo,
Yeah.
I make it a point to fucking like bring in only commoners to my squad because I'm a commoner.
Hmm.
And like when Yami brought this dude in, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And he was like, yo, damn it. I want him.
Yeah.
He's like, you showed me something real interesting.
And I think part of what Jack is saying, because he's saying, yeah, like I'm a commoner, I've actively added commoners to my brigade, and then he refers to Magna as a peasant, right?
Yeah,
Which I think peasant here, he's even saying that's even a level lower than commoner. It's even
yeah,
more poor, even has less rights and less power. And he was like, sure, commoners, sure, maybe, but a peasant, like really a peasant? And it's like, yeah, this guy is hard bodied. He's a hard bodied
hell yeah.
peasant for sure.
And then just like, I mean, it goes back into his dialogue later in the chapter when Dante's kind of like, jumping forward a bit, when Dante
Hmm.
kind of like
Hmm.
reactivates as they're leaving the room, and you're like, what the fuck? Um, like, is this really about to happen?
Hmm.
But Jack comes back in like, sit the fuck down. Like, just
Let the
calm
man have
down.
his
Like
W.
the little insect won that one.
Yeah,
You're done.
yeah. I loved that. I thought that was super badass of Jack. Like, I figured this guy would be coming back, but I'm gonna put an end to you right here.
For real.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely love that panel because I'm like, it goes right from the page 7 when Dante's like reactivating. You're like, oh, come on.
Yep.
Next page is just what I'd expect from an almighty dark triad member.
Hmm.
Fucking Jack just knew. He was like, I been knew this was gonna happen. Yeah, get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here.
Hmm. Super good.
Hell yeah. I
Got a little bit
don't
with
hate
like
stubborn
Morris.
guys,
What are you
but the
saying?
little insect. I was just saying, I was just quoting Jack again. Just,
Oh
I
yeah.
don't hate stubborn guys, but the little insect won that.
Hmm.
Don't go raining on his parade.
Hmm. Hmm. Feels so good.
So fucking good. But you
Got
ready to say
some.
something about page 5 here with Morris?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's just cool to see Morris again or whatever, and get a little bit more of his character. Where on page 5, he's like, ooh, I'd love to know what sort of spell they used to take him out, right? Seemingly unfazed. He doesn't seem to care all that much that they beat Dante,
Yeah.
which hypes him up even more, and he seems a little bit like Julius, right? Where the Wizard King, right? He's like so hyped about all these different types of magic, and even Morris here is kind of like that, right? Like, oh, I wonder what kind of spell they used to beat Dante. I'm very curious or
Yeah.
whatever.
And
Pretty
it was
badass.
interesting to see just like when Dante gets defeated, I was initially like, how did he know? I mean, I knew something must have happened to the circle, but I just
Hmm.
couldn't tell. But now looking at the illustration, I can see that this outer ring fades away. And
Yes,
so
yes.
obviously each one of these rings is correlated to like one of the Dark Triad members. For each one that gets taken down, one will disappear.
Yep, yep. I think you're totally right. Yep. So on the top of 5, you can see it kind of like fizzling away or whatever.
Hmm.
No, it's a good spot for sure. It was when I first saw it, I was like, yeah, what am I looking at here? Like, yeah, it's a big circle or whatever, but like I couldn't initially tell exactly what we were meant to
Like
see.
what cued him in on the fact that Dante lost. But yeah, it's yeah,
Mm-hmm.
now looking at it, it's much easier to tell.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get who was it that brought this the man fucking oh Noct had the snacks?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Noct had the snacks, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we just get this little exposition, like, oh nice, we beat him. Let's go get the rest of them.
Yeah.
That's all we gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
And the magical influence around the other Dark Triad members is too strong, so he can't take us there through shadows. Like, I'm curious, like exactly what that means.
Yeah, I'm,
It
I'm
just
not 100%
means
sure. Yeah.
the magical influence, like that has to do with the devils, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
because his shadow thing. No, he has shadow magic himself, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I was thinking it might be because the shadow devil doesn't like want to
Fuck with them
fuck
or
with the
whatever.
higher devils. Yeah.
Right. No,
But
I think it's. I guess how I took it is that, and did he not have this problem with Dante? Is he because he says like the other Dark Triad members? So is he not referring to Dante? Like, did Asta and him teleport here over Shadow, or did they walk? And he's saying other because Dante's out of the picture, so now it's just only need to talk about the other Dark Triad members. But I guess how I took it is their magic, or maybe the Devil's magic, or maybe in combination. It's just so big that it's like uh, influencing the area around them, and you
yep.
can't like fit your magic in there because it's like like a barrier almost, right? Like it's too thick. The mana is too thick to get into with the teleportation, I guess.
Yeah. That makes sense, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Then we move into this bit here with Charlotte and Vanica again.
Yeah.
The latter part of the chapter, I really like this. Um, Charlotte taking some decent damage,
Mm-hmm.
but what really shook me was page 12
Yeah.
when it's revealed that she is like possessed and is manipulating Lolo Pachika.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was like, oh fuck. I literally paused for just
Mm-hmm.
a second while I was reading it, like,
Mm-hmm.
shit.
Yeah, it sucks, you know what I mean? Because fucking the Charlotte and Rill, like they
Yep.
can't even barely fight back. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to hurt Lolopechka,
Yeah.
so it's such a bad position for them to be in. You know what I mean?
And then yeah, and just Vanica's going crazy with this blood magic, like this panel on the top of 11,
Mm-hmm.
when she's sending all these spikes out from every side of her arm, and they just like,
Right. Or
mm,
like the middle of 14, 15 or whatever. All these like do all these
yep, coming
blood
up out of the
spikes.
ground.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I was like, initially I was like, oh shit, but then you look closer and it's like, she didn't really get hit at all. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she took one through the arm,
Mm-hmm.
maybe another one like slightly into the other arm. It looks like this one didn't really go into her leg at all.
Right.
This one like misses her shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, she's all right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep. Yep.
it's initially more shocking than it actually, like when you look at it closer than it
Mm-hmm.
actually is. But
Right. It's almost like more caging her in than damaging
oh
her. I mean,
yeah,
it definitely
yeah,
does damage her, but not as much as it initially looks. So you're like, oh shit, is she like fucking skewered? You know what I mean? It's like, no, she's
yeah.
probably okay, whatever.
Initially, I thought the middle one like went right through her torso. I was like,
Yeah,
shit. But
that
yeah,
would
I
be
mean,
cold.
she kind of did just lock her down and come in for the kill shot,
Right.
by herself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And here comes Gaja and Noel.
I was so happy to see Gaja, man. That's my
Yeah.
guy. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, because I mean, I can't remember. I feel like it was just a few chapters ago where we got the hint that he was coming. Like we got him on a panel
Mm.
and it was like, the vibe was obviously like, I'm coming type shit.
Right.
And to see him there, hemming up Lolo Pechka, so good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like Noel, I was hyped to see that she looked like she came in straight for the kill.
Yes.
The fucking lance to the neck, like she's not playing around.
Yeah, Vanica
Looked
did
like
look a
she
little
in there.
surprised, like, oh shit, like this almost took my head off. You
Oh,
know what I mean?
yeah. Hell yeah. Lolo Pachika looks just calm though. Looking at
Yeah,
Gaja like,
possessed or whatever. Right?
yeah.
Cursed, I guess, technically.
The glee on Vanica's face though in the very last panel of the chapter. It's just
Yeah,
like, oh Noelle,
yeah.
thank you for coming.
Yep, I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of dialogue like that next chapter of her just like
Right.
being like super stoked that Noelle's here. Like, yo, I'm so ready to play with you.
You were like that one ACR chick that I cursed and killed.
Mm-hmm.
The devil's gonna come out. I just isn't Lolo Pechka. Well, I don't know. I guess maybe if Gaja is more powerful than her. It's hard to tell though, because she's possessed now.
Right.
Doesn't have the spirit
Right.
anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because I don't remember. What was the spirit's name again? The water?
Oh man.
I
Shoot, it
guess it
like
doesn't matter too much. Like,
yeah.
wasn't she killed?
I don't know if you can kill a spirit like that. You know what I mean? Like
True, true.
you can maybe dispel it, but I think it would come back. Like
Yeah, I
re.
mean, I guess I was under the assumption that like they were kind of in a reincarnation cycle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, if you kill them, they kind of do come back as like the fresh spirit, choose somebody else, or maybe the same person. I don't know. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it was just it'll be interesting to see how Gaja plans to deal with this. If he's just gonna like try and restrain her. Obviously, you can't go too crazy because what you said, they don't want to hurt her.
Right.
But it's fucking serious right now, man.
Yeah, yeah. In terms of the water
Although
spirit, I'm glad you brought up the water spirit actually, because I really hope that Noelle gets it right. You know what I mean?
I think
Obviously,
so too.
yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that was maybe even within this fight. That I mean, as campy as it might be,
Mm-hmm.
that really might be like the impetus to victory here against Vanica is that like Noelle gets blessed with the water spirit at some
Right.
point during the fight, and like her magic becomes that much more OD,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which I feel like a lot of people would be triggered by, but I'm fine.
I
Whatever.
mean, yeah, you almost got to expect it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm also very curious to see where they're gonna go. They have to go to Xenon, right? That would be better, like thematically for like Noelle and like right? It would be more poetic if Asta came in on Yuno's fight, you know?
Oh, I see. Like, and by they, you mean Asta and Noct and
Yeah.
like who are they going to turn up on first? I
Yeah,
don't know.
yes,
Like
exactly.
this chapter makes it kind of seem like they're going to roll up on Noelle or whatever, right? Because like they're
Maybe,
showing
yeah.
Noelle, but I do agree that it would make maybe more thematic sense if Asta helped Hmm.
And then maybe even if Luck came in here to see some of the higher application, like lightning magic from that Gaja's probably about to use, you know?
Right. Right.
So maybe they do split up and kind of go different locations here. But then what happens with Zora and Magna? Do they just bounce at this point? Like they got their
Right.
W, they're clean, they're out.
But like Magna got his W, and yes, I think Magna's
Zora,
done,
yeah,
but Zora hasn't done anything. You know what I mean? Like he's
no,
just like it chilled there and advised or whatever, almost right. And I feel like he really has to flex what he's learned in the last 6 months. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's definitely going to have a fight, and maybe that's
yeah,
and it doesn't seem like it would be against Vanica because Noelle's got Vanica. So would it be against Xenon? But what about right? So I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah, hard to say exactly who he would fight.
Maybe like he's gonna come out like I already got traps all over this motherfucker, like woo, and everything's gonna activate. That'd be nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a good point though. Like, where could Zora fit into this whole equation as far as like getting a W somewhere? I don't
Right.
know.
I don't know. It's a good
Because
question.
maybe go no, because I mean Noct wants to take out more. Maybe he could take out Morris.
Sure. But then Morris, like, I mean, as like the finishing blow, but if it's like the finishing blow, shouldn't that be like Asta or something? You know what I mean? After 30 minutes have gone by and he can reuse his devil form or whatever, devil union. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I really hope Zora gets something, you know what I mean? Because right now he's just kind of stood around and talked a good game. But you know he
Yeah.
did something in those 6 months, just like Magna did. So
I can't remember. There's been so much going on in these last few chapters. Did the singular devil get dealt with? Like after they killed one of the two, they merged. After
where?
that, what happened? Like when there was two devils,
Mm-hmm.
one had fire, one had ice powers, and Asta
Oh,
like killed one of them,
yeah,
and the other one kind of took it in
yeah.
and gained its power in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And so like I can't remember exactly, was that one dealt with as well?
Yeah, Asta, I think Asta took care of that one.
Yeah, the same. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just so much has been going on.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't remember if they like were like and like skirted off out of there, like I'll see you again in fucking 10 minutes or something. I don't
No,
know.
no. No, I think Asta got them or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah, no, I mean, solid chapter. I mean, I thought it was good. You know what I mean? Like good feel good stuff at the beginning. Good to see Morris again. Jack being a badass, and
yeah.
yeah, getting back to Noelle and Gaja and Vanica or whatever. I'm definitely down to see this fight with Noelle and Vanica for sure.
I definitely am too. And like
Mm-hmm.
I'm obviously Charlotte and Real won't just like take a back seat.
Right.
Maybe they will, but I would like to hope I hope they won't.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really do like Charlotte's new True Briar magic with the blue and red roses, and I fucking have always been a huge fan of Real
Mm-hmm.
and his painting magic.
Yeah.
Since that very first panel, we were like, they told you he could replicate all the elements with his painting magic. I was like,
Right.
yo, this dude is fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's about all I had for this chapter.
Yeah. Likewise.
Well, with that, we can go ahead and move right into The Lovely Lady Nagant, chapter 314 of My Hero.
Mm-hmm. Great chapter.
And I was like, at first off put, because was this, what was, I almost felt like this was the same chapter name as last chapter.
I think it was similar.
Yeah.
Let me see here. I
But
can easily look this up quickly. So the last chapter was called. Oh no, it wasn't. Yeah. So like 2 chapters ago was Hired Gun, and then last chapter was High Speed Long Range Mobile Cannon.
high speed, long range mobile. Yep.
Yeah.
And The Lovely Lady Nagant.
Mm-hmm.
This one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we get this inner monologue from Deku, like, my smoke screen won't spread very far in the rain, so she should be able to instantly react to my scattered decoys. So that was him banking on the fact that she would like instantly react to all the things he threw out,
Mm-hmm.
and he would be able to get up on her, which obviously succeeded.
Right.
And it was hyped to even see her note
Yeah.
that he's like much faster now,
Mm-hmm.
since he's using the other application of the ability that
The
that is,
Fajin.
yeah, Fajin. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. I think that's why he's faster for sure.
most definitely.
And we to skip ahead a little bit, I think you can see Deku use Fajin on page 3. So on page 2, super badass, right? Like Deku has Lady Nagant by the arm, and her gun is pointed like kind of forward away from Deku. Then she dispels the arm on page 2, then points her arm backwards and like regrows the gun and pushes him away, basically like slams him with the rifle as it's like coming back out. And then on 3, she goes to shoot him, and he uses Fajin to avoid the bullet, I think is what that panel is saying.
I think that's probably what happened. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering, like, I thought it was just him, like, well, like
getting hit, but no, I think he used Fajin to like do a burst of whatever energy, burst of spiritual energy, chi or whatever, and avoid the bullet. He might have gotten hit a little bit, but like avoiding most of it. But damn, this chapter was intense with this whole backstory of like the safety commission and all this stuff. Like this is exactly the kind of stuff I wanted to hear more about in terms of the world building.
I already know. Yeah, Kiko's probably going crazy.
Yeah.
Reading this chapter, he's like, "This is what I needed." Now we're just missing the dudes in suits. So
we got dudes with suits. Dude had a suit.
We've gotten plenty of dudes in suits.
Oh yeah.
like no, but he's referring to government officials and shit that he wants to see like running the show.
Mhm.
But yeah, this whole dialogue, like this monologue dialogue, just tirade from Lady Nagant about
Mhm.
like her past and the real darkness of the world and like the shit that's hidden beneath the surface of the hero society that keep the cogs running.
Yeah.
Like this entire chapter was like so heavy and good for me. Like I was just like riveted by her dialogue through and through.
Yes.
And then
100%.
something that was especially like just hit me super hard was when she's like, it's on page 8 and 9.
Yep.
A
Mhm.
system that needed both sides to maintain itself. So I obeyed. I complied. I did my duty. And then these kids run up to her like, "Oh, shake our hand. We're huge fans of you." And she goes to reach out and like just sees like the blood-covered hand of her own and like pulls it back like, "Jesus, I
Right.
can't touch these kids with this hand.
Right. Obviously
This
in her
hand is."
mind, but she thinks she's tainted, you know what I mean? She thinks she's, like,
Yes.
been doing bad things and kind of has in a way, you know?
And yeah, been murdering people left and right.
Mhm. Especially that dude on 7, on the bottom page 7, right, where the guy even says, like, "We haven't even done anything yet. They just
Yeah.
had intelligence that they were planning on doing something." It's like, "Alright, get ahead of these people, just kill them." You know what I mean? They're just bad people. It's
Yeah.
like, "Yo, where's your trial? Where's your
Which
trial? Where's
was
your evidence? Where's every," you know, all this stuff, right? You can't just kill all these people, you know?
yeah, which was like I mean, that was the premise of a whole like comic book run in between like that was the whole reason behind the Civil War, I think, in
Mm,
the Marvel comics where like I think Captain Marvel and Iron Man were like saying we have the ability to determine whether or not these people are going to do bad things before they even do them, so we should just fucking get rid of them. And like Captain and shit are like, yo, no, that's
right.
not right.
Mhm.
And I think that was the whole premise behind like the second Civil War
Sure.
in the Marvel comics, which is
Mhm.
really interesting to see a dynamic like that here explored in this chapter.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
they're just really acting on it, like,
Yeah,
"Get them,
right.
take them."
Mhm. For sure. And yeah, her conversation on like 10 and 11 with the president of the safety commission. And I wonder like on 11, right, where the dude is basically saying like, I don't know, I'm sure you're quite aware that this is not a job you can simply walk away from. And he's like reaching into his jacket. Like, what is he doing? Is he gonna pull a gun? Is he gonna use an ability or something? And she immediately like just says like, "You're a strong one." Bam! Just takes him out, you
Mhm.
know?
I think, now that you mentioned that, I didn't even notice that he was, like, into his jacket like that. I think he
Mhm.
probably was about to pull out a gun and, like, try and pop her or something.
Or it's either that or she's been trained her whole life to preemptively attack criminals, right? He might have been reaching for a smoke. He might have been reaching for a handkerchief, you know what I mean? But because she is the type of, you know, killer, assassin that attacks people about to do shit, then it backfired on him and she assumed that he was going to be pulling out a gun and just killed him, right? Where like, and that's what he trained her to do, you know?
You can almost see, like I don't know, the illustration seems a little different in that bottom right panel on 11 where
Hmm.
it just shows her eye, like, it almost seems like she's, like, taken
Right.
like, rocked by what he said. Because I mean, I don't think you're reaching for a handkerchief if you say that line of dialogue and then reaching into your jacket, like,
Right.
I'm probably gonna just, "Nah, like, get your ass out of here, bitch.
Right. Right.
What you
Definitely.
talking about?"
Hmm. No, it is definitely very interesting. Line art on that bottom right panel of 11. It when I was first looking at it, I was looking at a lot of these on all the right panels on 11, like the top right, the middle right, and the bottom right. It kind of looks like it's digitally copy pasted, right? Like you
Almost.
draw it in the top left, and then just like copy paste it, zoom in, copy paste it, zoom in again. You know what I mean? Because it looks like grainier
Oh,
and thicker.
yeah.
But I
Yeah, you're
can't.
probably right about that.
It's hard for me to tell if it actually is copy pasted because obviously the top right one is so zoomed out that you can't see all the detail of like the pupil. Say,
I think it
um,
is very like,
it's very
if you
similar.
yeah, if you go to the bottom too, you can tell a lot easier, like, if you zoom in as far as Viz will let you on the
Hmm.
website, you can tell that the pupil, like there's that bottom part that kind of juts out and curves back in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you can see that on both of them. So I think
Mm-hmm.
you're right. I
Mm-hmm.
think you're right. They did just kind of copy paste this and zoom it in a little further.
Mm-hmm. But it gives a kind
Which
of
is
cool effect.
disappointing to me. Yeah, because I took it as like, especially the way her pupil was drawn, is her being like emotionally shaken by what he said. Like, oh
Mm-hmm.
fuck, like he's about to kill me. Because like obviously that's the implication.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm.
And man, this panel of her like sitting alone in her apartment,
Ooh.
just like
On 10.
just broken. You can see her just like broken by this
Yep.
fucking this the weight of these deeds that she's done. And it's like, man,
Mm-hmm.
fuck. You understand why she like, through this whole chapter, I feel like that's like the most profound part is like through her dialogue and shit, you understand why she's doing what she's doing.
100%, definitely. And jumping ahead though, I will definitely say that say for example, I guess not jumping too far ahead, on page 13, right? She kind of ends her tirade, ends her monologue.
Hmm.
Um as she kind of is explained that yeah, she killed the president of the safety commission and the whole hero society is this huge, sham essentially. At the very end, she says, like, well, at least a future ruled over by all for one will be a hell of a lot more transparent. And
Yes.
yes, that is maybe true to a degree, transparently evil, but like, what a jump, you know what I mean? Like, basically saying, like, hero society sucks, they're bad people, therefore, I'm gonna be even more bad, and I'm gonna support someone who's even more bad, right? And that's where I like, jumping ahead a little bit, to Deku, right? Deku on page 15, 16, love it, where he's like, most things in this world are shades of gray, a blend of
Yeah.
fear and anger, and that's exactly why I've got to extend a helping hand. Seeing the exact same situation where Lady Nagant has, obviously over years of killing people, right, has like lost her guiding light, lost her impetus to do good. She has given up on doing good because she thinks the whole society is just too far gone. It's all fucked up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Where Deku's like, no, like if things are gray, like that's exactly the time to step up and do good. You know what I mean? To shift it more away from black into white into good. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just beautiful. I just thought Deku really killed it in his
Yeah.
response.
I think so too. Yeah. That one dialogue bubble too, like really hit me hard. Like a blend of fear and anger.
Mm-hmm.
Like that rang so true. Like
Mm-hmm.
most things in this world are gray.
Yeah.
Like a blend of people's fear and their anger at shit that, injustice is done to them or like to their family or on a greater scale around the world. And it's just like, yeah, it's wild.
Mm-hmm. Hundred
It's
percent.
just it. And then he thinks back to Shigaraki's dialogue. I wish they would have quoted the full quote because it
Mm.
just says swept their pain under the rug with maggots crawling out.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that quote being a little longer and more profound, but it still carries the message.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. In terms of kind of more actiony stuff, 14, like using the black whip, pinpoint focus or whatever, tight
Yeah.
as hell.
Yeah, I like was surprised that he could throw it that far. Like he's
Yeah.
really on some real Spider-Man shit. I
Mm-hmm.
love it.
Oh yeah, especially considering on the top of 15 it like actually like sticks to the building, right? Like he is
Yeah,
using it like more even more like Spider-Man than ever. Very tight, very tight.
most definitely.
And then yeah, like obviously the super classic villain thing to do, right? Like the hero is expounding, oh yeah, we have to be good, you know what I mean? Like when situations are gray, you got to be good, right? It's like, all right, how about this gray situation and one villain pointing her gun at another villain, and what are you going to do, Deku? And I would like to think that hopefully obviously Deku is going to try and save Chisaki here, right?
Mhm.
You would like to
I
think
almost
that
picture him taking the bullet for him.
no, I don't think he's gonna take the bullet for him. I think he's just gonna hopefully save him. But I hope that it like kind of makes Lady Nagant realize that like, okay, this kid is good. You know what I mean? Like pure good, not
Yeah,
brainwashed good, but actually good because he's
yeah,
he's saving someone that society would consider bad. Society the safety commission would have told her to kill Chisaki. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's making bullets that take away quirks. You know what I mean? Like, we can't have that. We can't have that destroying society. So she would have been told to kill Chisaki, and he's gonna save him. You know what I mean? Maybe they'll snap her out of it, but I don't know if it's actually gonna snap her out of it. You know?
That's hilarious to think about. Like, how far do you think Chisaki would have gotten in his plot if she was still in the safety commission? Like, she probably would have taken him out pretty quick.
Easy.
He used to just walk down the street nonchalantly. Like,
Mhm.
he'd have been like, "What?" Just gotten his fucking dome blown off.
Yeah. Absolutely. It would be no challenge for her to beat Chisaki. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Considering
Hit
she's
him
like
from,
a sniper assassin
She would
type.
just hit him from like 3 miles away, and he would never know what the fuck hit him. Like most of these people in this chapter. Like, I mean, this page. I mean, this page 6 for one, or 7 for one. Like when
Mhm.
her feet are in the panel of all the dead bodies, and page 7, the top of page 7, something I want to talk about in a second. But on page 8, she wraps this shot through the window, through both of these people's heads. Like,
Yeah,
whap,
that is
whap.
cold.
Yeah,
Terrifying.
that's like insane sniper skill and
Mhm.
like utilization and mastery of her quirk. But I wanted you to take a look at this top panel of page 7,
Yeah.
where she's talking about all these vigilante heroes. You know, they ruled the world and whatever. The very left front dude,
Not the one with like the big pointy head, but the one on the very, very
the
left.
one to the left of him, yes,
Looks like
that
Crust.
Crust. Doesn't
Right?
that look like Crust?
It does look like Crust.
Yo, was Crust a vigilante killer? I
That-
want to know.
Now, here's another one.
No,
Here's another one. The one directly up and to the right from her head. Is that Crimson Riot?
Crimson Riot. Oh,
It kind of looks like it, like the head or whatever, like the pointy head or whatever.
and that would be a huge thing for Kirishima, right? If he
Yeah.
found out that his idol was actually like instead of a valiant hero, he was just like a vigilante, like anti-hero killer.
Mm-hmm. And he seems the type, you know what I mean? Like, you know, a pretty badass dude or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know what? Now that I think about it, like the dude in the kind of foreground, this kind of dude with the pointy head, is that old dude? The old dude that quit?
Samurai dude in the top 10 that quit? I
Yeah.
was thinking the same thing when I saw that, but I don't remember his helmet being like that, so I kind of shied away from it. But
Right, but that could have been him when he was younger, you know, with maybe like a different design of the helmet or whatever, and like as he got older, like not a vigilante anymore. I don't know, like that's obviously like unconfirmed and maybe a bit more of a stretch because it definitely does look a little different, but it kind of looks also similar in a way.
But I feel like, I mean, most of these dudes are silhouetted. I feel like there is some credence to maybe the ones that have some white shading incorporated, you know, being some
we're supposed to recognize them, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm like kind of racking my brain trying to figure out who this other dude is with the 3 ones on the left side of his head.
Right. Yeah, it's a little hard for me to tell or remember, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like maybe he's got flames on his head or something. Who knows? Maybe that was like Endeavor's dad.
Sure. Could be.
I don't know.
If anyone knows definitively who that dude is, let us know in the comments. I would love to get your insight on that for sure.
Oh, and another thing I just noticed on the Crimson Riot when you pointed out is like you can see what looks like some of his collar, which is like a known thing that he has.
Okay.
I want to see. I want to go into that a little more. I want to know more about who is the vigilantes.
Yes.
You know,
seeing this panel, I was actually thinking like I should probably go and read Vigilantes. You know, I've only read the first chapter. I was literally
just thinking that like the word is right there. I was like, some of this shit might be in Vigilantes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably what they're going to be telling us in the comments, right? Like, fucking read Vigilantes,
you idiots! Why don't you read Vigilantes? Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I'm sure I will someday.
Yeah. So, I'm just trying to think. I think that might have been all I had for this chapter.
Yeah. Absolutely fantastic chapter. The exact kind of chapter that I think a lot of us have been waiting for in terms of that world building. Because, yeah, like, to to level up the villains. You know what I mean? When the villains like say Shigaraki are really really criticizing society, you really have to show a chapter like this. You know what I mean? To show that the quote unquote good aspect of society, even that has shades of gray, and even that is
Yeah.
doing shady shit that is, you know, obviously bad or whatever. So I really really loved this chapter, 100%.
Yeah, I did too. Riveting dialogue, fun action,
Mm-hmm.
just all around a great chapter. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, well, with that, I think we can go ahead and get right into the piece de resistance. One Piece chapter 1014, The Ham.
The
What do you
Ham.
think this chapter title was in reference to?
I'm
Like,
thinking Conjuro, like
The Ham.
an
Yeah,
actor, like an actor,
The
and like
Ham.
hamming it up and
That's what
trying to
they
be the
call
center.
bad actors.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and like trying to like become
Always
the
such a ham.
center of attention or whatever when he's like some side character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess like that's my only guess. Yeah.
I like this cover page though.
Yo, it's tight. It's cool.
Law Law puzzling over a riddle in front of a painted tiger screen by Takashi. Capture the tiger on the screen.
Mm-hmm. He's like, how?
How?
Kiko
Oh
would probably
man.
know some sort of lore about this. I don't really know if there's anything like special or lore about like this screen or anything.
I'm not sure either.
Mm-hmm.
Although it does almost look like the tiger is coming out of the photo if you look.
Yeah, 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 for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can see his like where his head was and where
Mm-hmm.
his leg was silhouetted in the back.
Yeah, and you can see his like paw is like way out of the picture. You know what I mean? The
Yeah,
left front paw. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah.
But
Even if there's no reference or no lore or anything, just a cool little piece of art for
it's a
sure.
cool little. I mean, yeah, it's no lore. It's just one of those stupid little like Noda Skywalker request ones. Like, oh, draw Aokiji fucking around with some birds or something. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
But
So
yeah. Ooh.
I this dialogue at the beginning of the chapter was
Mm-hmm.
curious to me on page 1 when he says, "So you infused yourself with the color of the Supreme King, but your use of it was crude and clumsy.
Mm-hmm.
Gum gum, what was it again? Warorororo." But the fact that he is saying that is curious to me. Like it makes me think that Luffy used a move on him that we haven't seen yet,
Yes, I totally agree. I
right?
totally agree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a specific move that maybe he developed in tandem with his Conqueror's Hockey infusion.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Or maybe he like just made it up on the fly or something, like as he like kind of had the realization of using Supreme Hockey, Conqueror's Hockey with his stuff or whatever, Rio and everything, and he just made up an attack on the spot, and maybe
Yeah.
that's like where he says like, oh, your use of it was crude and clumsy or whatever. But yeah, very very interesting. I totally agree with you though. Definitely an attack that we did not see off screen, kind of thing.
Yeah. You couldn't be Joy Boy either, it seems.
Yo,
So
Joy Boy talk.
Kaido knows a lot more than he lets on
Mm-hmm.
about like, the history of the world. I'm almost thinking he's read Odin's journal, right? I mean, he must have. He idolized him so much. Like,
But wasn't it that I feel like he couldn't have read Odin's journal because
is it written in the
Lady
poneglyph
Toki like
language?
threw it in the water or whatever, and then
Oh
Yamato
yeah.
got it, and Yamato's had it hidden this whole time, I
Yeah.
think, right? Um, but how else do you learn about Joy Boy? So is there like another way? The poneglyphs are another way you could learn about Joy Boy. But does Kaido have anyone on his crew that can read poneglyphs? You know?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't think
Very
so.
mysterious. Obviously, anything with Joy Boy is like hugely mysterious. So
Yeah, like why is Kaido specifically like, oh, you couldn't be him either? I wonder. Yeah, it's just really curious. I feel like, God damn it, Oda. Why? Why would you just throw this line in there? Just it's obvious to make us like
hmm
lick our chops for the information, but
yeah,
man.
chomping at the bit for sure.
And then he goes into this, like, oh, let everybody know that I won the fight. Yeah, like,
hmm
okay, Kaido, yeah, chill the fuck out. Like,
Right.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of bullshit on the internet. Like, oh, I even saw this meme that was like a Peaky Blinders meme with Zoro and Luffy's face edited over the characters, and it was like, "Oh, Zoro, I might have found the man I can't defeat," and I'm like, "Yo, Luffy is gonna win." Like, I just don't understand people, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to dwell on this for too long, but I feel like people, man, they really want Luffy to just die and like One Piece to be over. Like the
Yeah,
way they talk
get over it.
sometimes.
Luffy's going to win. Get over it. But this is a throwback to Alabasta. You know what I mean? Luffy
Yep.
lost like 3 times against Crocodile before he ended up winning. You know what I mean? So there was
Mhm.
tons of scenes back then also where, oh, Luffy's dead. I've got my hook through your body. I'm gonna throw you in a pit of sand. You know what I mean? Or all this stuff. Like I sucked the juice out of you, and you're just a little scraggly, you know, sucked dry
Paper,
rubber
yeah.
board paper, like paper, crumpled up paper, and I'm gonna throw you away. And like this happens to Luffy all the time. Like how can anyone really think Luffy's lost? And Kaido even mentioned last chapter or the chapter before, like, damn, it sucks I didn't cut your head off because now everyone's gonna believe you're gonna win anyway. You know what I mean? And of
Yeah.
course, and that's like commenting also to us, the reader, right? But also all the people in Onigashima, where no one really believes Luffy lost. You know what I mean?
Right.
So definitely agree with you.
But it is interesting to me thinking about like how or who will kind of come through for Luffy in this moment where he's in the sea, because obviously he can't
I'm
save
thinking
himself.
Shirahoshi.
Oh, sends the Sea Kings up to him.
Yo, right? Because also,
Yo,
and we definitely got to talk more about what Momonosuke is saying here on page 4. But on page 5, he goes like, what is that? Who is that? You know, and he's like, my head. So he obviously is hearing the voice
Hearing
of
the
all
voice of
things and
Mhm.
hearing something really, really, really interesting, unique, jarring. You know what I mean? Which could be Shirahoshi. It could be a fuck ton of Sea Kings. It could be, I don't know, it could be Blackbeard for all we know. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's someone out of the battlefield that is coming. And even says, I think he says on page 10, he's saying to Kinemon, like, Kinemon, we have to tell everyone. It's like, ooh, what is coming? What is coming, my boy? I don't know.
Yeah, that was peculiar to me too. Like right after he read it too, right after he read the journal, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Yo, it would seem that I truly must not die."
Mm-hmm.
That to me too was like, "Yo, show me the goddamn book. Like, stop fucking around. Like, what is it?" I just yeah,
What
I
I
can't wait
got,
for it.
or at least my theory about what he read was about Joy Boy. Because on page 3, Kaido talking about Joy Boy, right?
Yep.
And talking about how, oh, seems you couldn't be Joy Boy either, as I throw you into the ocean to quote unquote die, right? So
Mm-hmm.
kind of comparing Joy Boy with someone who dies. And then next page, Momonosuke reading the journal and saying like, it would seem I truly must not die. Probably because Joy Boy also hears the voice of all things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Momonosuke knows he has a special gift to hear things. He's reading in the journal. Joy Boy has a gift to hear things. And we know Luffy has also a gift to hear things. So
Mm-hmm.
it connects Joy Boy, Luffy, Momonosuke, the journal all together. If that's literally what he was reading, and obviously Momonosuke, he's thinking like maybe he doesn't know that Luffy has the voice of all things, right? So all he knows is that he has the voice of all things, and he's reading in there like Joy Boy, who has the ability to hear the voice of all things, can't die because you know he needs to fulfill the prophecy and save all of humanity or whatever kind of thing. So he's like, damn, like I can't die. You know what I mean? But really, Luffy is the guy. But I mean, who knows? In terms of storytelling, it could be Momo, but obviously, I think it's Luffy.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think I've always thought Luffy is like the reincarnation of Joy Boy.
Right, right.
It's just it's his personality,
Mm-hmm. It's just cool
Seems
as
Joy
hell.
Boyish. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just loves everybody type
Right.
shit. Not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily loves everybody, because he has gone on record saying like, I hate fucking weak people who won't even stand up for their own dream type shit. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he in the first chapter, first episode, whatever you want to call it, basically shat on Kobe.
Yeah, he did.
Like, he was like, "You're a fucking pussy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't care if I die chasing my dream. That's what I'm gonna do." And like the
Mm-hmm.
fact that you're sitting here resigned to this fate, like you're a fucking coward. And I
Right.
hate people like you.
Yep.
So yeah, it's not like Luffy loves everybody, but anybody. It's I don't know. It seems false, that statement, because he just goes above and beyond for everybody.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, then we get some stuff with Chopper and fighting Queen or whatever, and
Yeah.
I love this kind of flashback to Chopper working with Caesar Clown. I think that's super interesting because like they
Yes.
definitely were together on Punk Hazard, together on the boat. Obviously, on the scene is them on the boat or whatever. And Caesar's a scientist, you know. Very cool that it's almost like Zeno and Senku, right? Where like maybe Zeno's like, you know, I could help you out with your revival fluid or something. You know what I mean? Like your science here. And Caesar Clown here is like, yo, I'm gonna tell you some chemicals. You had this chemical, that chemical will improve your rumble balls. Very
Yeah.
cool.
That and like I kind of went on a brief tirade on the reaction stream about this, like because I was like, this is why, as shitty as Caesar is, I've always advocated for him to become a member of the Straw Hat Crew
Oh,
because like
get no vetoed.
this kind of shit is why.
Yeah,
Like he could help immensely with his knowledge, both not only Chopper but Frankie and Usopp. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like he's just got a wide range of chemistry knowledge and shit that Chopper and Frankie don't necessarily have. Like Frankie is kind of a scientist,
Mm-hmm.
but he's more of a
Engineer.
engineer, a
Mm-hmm.
mechanic.
Right.
Chopper is strictly a doctor, and Usopp is strictly like a sniper slash like maybe craftsman.
Right. Right.
But like Caesar's got implicit like scientific and like chemical knowledge of like all different types of obviously chemicals,
Mm-hmm.
poisons, gases, you know, real science.
Yep.
And so like his knowledge would be beneficial. So I've always
Yeah.
kind of wrestled myself with that. Like, man, Caesar is shitty,
Mm-hmm.
but he would be a good addition to the crew. And like
Sure.
while he was with them, the dynamic was funny and shit. So that made me
Mm-hmm.
that kind of convinced me even more. But now obviously he's in the wind doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
So who knows if that will ever come to fruition? Probably
Mm-hmm.
not.
Yeah. Another interesting thing about this conversation between him and Chopper is like this is on page 6, right? Chopper says, "But if I'm in monster form any longer than that, dot dot dot." And Caesar replies, "Then what? Like, are you so precious about your looks?" Which tells me that is it that when Chopper is in his monster form, is he slowly becoming more monstrous in his base form, like looking more monstrous or something? Or is he getting older? Like, is there some like huge detriment to the monster form that we don't even know yet, like the full
Yeah,
detriment?
that definitely could be true.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That'd be pretty
Interesting.
cool. Like, I liked, you know, when they mentioned that Luffy using Gear Second, you know, even like shortens his lifespan. You know what I mean? Like just the extra stress on his body. I think that shit is so cool. You know, hard bodied. You know, like to put your life on the line for your friends. It's like
Yeah.
exactly the kind of thing you'd have in One Piece. So it could be a thing with Chopper too.
Yeah, and then we move into this bit where we get this black coffee beam from Queen, which
Mm-hmm.
is it's whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. We haven't really seen Queen do too much like impressive stuff besides like his chemist ability with making poisons and stuff and his like
Mm-hmm.
bionic arm and cool shit like that. But I feel
Right.
like Queen, I know he hasn't done too much impressive yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
But
tend to agree with that. Yeah.
on the same page where he's got the black coffee beam, we get this Sparrow about to shoot these arrows, which he doesn't, which was it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of threw me like he's getting prepared to, but then we kind of just go into this transponder bit
Mm-hmm.
of Kaido broadcasting this message all across the island.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously nobody believes it. Marco's like, oh shit, Mugiwara.
Yeah.
I think the person who I felt the most was Jinbei.
Mm.
Because
Just
Jinbei
like
is like in the middle of a heated fight and he has no words. He's just like just shocked, like, I need to get down there.
mm-hmm.
I'm the one who needs to save him in this scenario. I'm a fishman.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yes. He could save him,
Yeah.
but he needs to get down there like now.
He needs to get down there like now. But he can swim also very, very fucking fast. So
Yeah. Yo.
um
Oh, I love
but I
that.
just felt that because like I mean that's a reason why I've always, thought like they need a fisherman on the crew so that if devil
Mm-hmm.
fruit users fall in, they can just get them real
Yeah.
quick, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's part of role Jinbei considers himself to have too,
Yeah.
because he's like a responsible father figure type, person. He's like, I'm the person who can go in there and save these devil fruit users if they fall in. And
Dude.
so that just dot 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 exclamation exclamation from him was like really to me like, fuck, I gotta wrap this up quick and go save my guy.
Mm-hmm. I love
But
that.
he's fighting who's who.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I want to see more of that fight.
Oh,
And I'm
100%.
mad that they show who's who in his regular form when like the last time we saw him, he was like saber toothed up, like chilling, like
Mm-hmm.
yo. Mm. I want to see a lot more of a lot of these confrontations. That's
Mm-hmm.
it's one of the most disappointing things about like modern day One Piece, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
There's just so much going on and the pacing, like it's we're at chapter 1014, you know what I mean? Like there's
Yeah,
to a degree, you could say like, oh, there's just not enough time to like
yeah,
do all these fights as much as cool as they would be, you know what I mean? And I totally agree with you. It would be tight to see all these fights, but and we'll see if we get them. I'm obviously like I back when Jack was fighting against the minx or whatever and got
yep.
handed, and like it was so short. And had the conversation like, oh, that means we're gonna get it again. And I was like, I don't know, it could not, but now they probably will have the fight again, him versus Inuarashi or whatever, right? Or is it Nekomamushi is gonna fight him? One of those two is gonna fight him.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I don't remember where either of them are at. Do we see either of them throughout this chapter?
I
I
don't
don't think
think
so.
this chapter, but I think a couple chapters ago, one of them is going after Sparrow, and one of them is going after Jack. Um,
Oh, yeah, Neko Mamushi's going after Sparrow
gotcha,
because of
gotcha.
Pedro.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Yep.
Because
Yep.
Pedro was his man's. Yeah,
Yep. 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 And yep. Inuarashi versus Jack. Yep. So I
yeah.
think probably we'll get at least like a chapter of each of these fights, but that's going to add up quick. You know what I mean? Like there's like
Hmm.
20 fights going on. So
Yeah. But yeah, we get I love how it's you see on all the Straw Hats faces, like, yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Get the fuck out of here. You
hmm
bullshitting.
hmm
Our man's ain't lost.
It was very good to see all the Straw Hats like just not phased. You know what I mean? Like fuck you in your surrender, your terms of surrender or whatever. No way. We're still fighting. You know what I mean? It's like that feels good. You love to see it.
Although somebody that I did get a bit of a weird feeling from is Law. His
Mm.
panel, no
hmm
dialogue, just looks like incredibly shook and worried, like, oh fuck, our plan is falling to pieces.
Yeah,
Like,
and he would be the one to
if Law
worry.
really
Yeah.
does? What if he does surrender and just like, all right,
Shh.
and starts cutting Kid up or something?
Mm-hmm. That'd be pretty crummy.
Yeah, I don't think Law's that type of person. A lot of people have explored that possibility in the past, like, oh, Law's gonna betray Luffy, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Right.
I think Law has been pulled into Luffy's pace at this point. I think they're
Yes.
legitimate. They're legitimate buddies. It's like
Yeah.
a and even before they started their alliance and stuff. I always kind of viewed the 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 monster trio of the worst generation dynamic as like Luffy is Roger,
Mm-hmm.
where Law is Whitebeard.
Mm-hmm.
They have kind of a friendly rivalry, but also love each other like brothers.
Sure.
And then Kid is like the Shiki of the group, where he's just a fucking wild man and just wants to
Sure.
fucking fight everybody else all the time and do wild shit.
Sure. Yeah, I can see it.
I don't know. I've always seen that kind of reflected in them.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite part was just all the Straw Hats. Like, nah, just get the fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm.
My man's ain't lost. And then even Sanji and Zoro, like, fuck that. Screw that.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
ain't true.
Right. Zoro
Not out
like
of here.
waking up from his, nap in his cast just to say that, basically.
Yeah.
So good. And
Mhm.
yeah, then we get this Conjuro stuff. Ugh.
Yeah, that's the last bit,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
man. And I was wondering, like, what Conjuro was doing in this room.
Oh, just trying to find
And
those
then I kind
guys.
of put together that that's under the room they're in and shit, right?
Yes,
So
yes. So on the
yeah,
top of 10, he's under the room, and then when quote unquote Odin comes up on
yeah.
bottom of 10, that's him coming up those stairs or whatever. Yeah.
And just obviously really, really shitty to see this used against them again,
Mhm.
and even more shitty to see that, like, I don't know, like, it just shows how profound, like, the connection between Odin and them was that, like, even in a situation where she knows this isn't him,
Yeah.
she still falters
Yep.
and gets fatally wounded here. I
Mhm.
mean, you would think she gets
Yep.
stabbed right through her fucking torso.
Yeah, I think she's
Um,
done, unfortunately. It really sucks because I
yeah,
really liked Kiku for sure, but I think
yeah,
she's done here.
yeah. She seems like the character who's like gonna die throughout this. Like she's lost an arm. She's been doing hard body shit. She got stabbed through her gut now. Like
Mhm.
Kiku, and this last panel where she falls and Kinemon catches her. Oh,
Yeah.
that just really like drives the nail home. Like
Yep.
Kiku, no. Oh,
But
I was
at least
hot.
Kinemon got Kanjuro, you know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
huge like Kanjuro already said on page blah 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 13, top of 13, he said, "The wound you already gave me will prove fatal." Like he's already dying. He already knows that
Hmm.
Kiku did give him a fatal wound, and he's like wheezing in that same panel. So
Yep.
you know that that Kinemon just killed him here on 14 for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh,
And
so
then
satisfying.
here's the ham part, right? Like yeah, if anyone would close the curtains on my act, it ought to be you. On stage we were always best of friends or whatever. Pretty powerful scene generally. I mean, like Kanjuro can go, fuck himself or whatever, but like,
Yeah.
still powerful.
Still, yeah. Like, I mean, Kinemon really believed they were best friends. Like, he had everybody fooled the whole time. So,
Yep.
like, the weight of this for Kinemon,
Mm-hmm.
the weight of all this for all of them, really.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then this last panel, like, I had no idea. I thought Kanjuro blew himself up
Oh.
on his bottom left panel of page 15, like the
Mm-hmm.
double spread.
Mm-hmm.
And then I turned the page and like Kaido's there, obviously. But like, I definitely was like, what the fuck? Did he just blow himself up? How are Kinemon and them just standing there like nothing just happened?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
that's a good point. Yeah. But no, you're there. Just
Kaido
Kaido.
came down in.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's so cool to see, Kinemon like, yo, run, just get the
Mm-hmm.
fuck out of here. But like, man,
Mm-hmm.
his shit got smushed like a fucking pancake. Like his torso got compressed like a fucking accordion.
That is definitely a possibility. Like, oh man, and I didn't even realize you can see the blades. The blades
They
snapped.
broke.
They broke.
Yep.
Oh man. Oh dude. Oh
I
shoot.
think Kinemon is out of there too. Like Kinemon just got put on a shirt. Like Kaido fucking like brought it down on him with both fucking hands and King's Hockey infused. Like, yo,
Mhm. Mhm.
Kinemon and the way that Momonosuke screams
Mhm.
and just like that kind of swan song moment, it all
Mhm.
felt like this kind of really did culminate to Kinemon. Like this really might be him out of there.
Yeah, with the swords broken, I think there's a very distinct possibility that he's like he just got killed right there. Like really obliterated, as you
Yeah.
say, like squashed like a pancake or whatever. If the swords weren't broken, you could maybe imagine that he's still blocking under the huge ball, right? But damn, if those swords are broken, I mean, like, yeah, maybe I guess he could still be blocking with like the remaining bits of the blades for, but it doesn't look very good for Kinemon for sure.
Oh, fuck.
Shoot.
And Onigashima reaches the Moano mainland. So they're
Mm-hmm.
about to touch down in the capital, or maybe not in the capital quite yet, but they're over the land now.
Right, right. It'll still take him
And
some time to reach the capital, but mhm.
and I'm just like it makes it even more curious. Like now it's even harder for like a character like Jinbei or someone who's in the castle to go save Luffy. So
Yep,
like it almost I I think you might be onto something there with the Sea Kings.
they're pretty good. Be pretty
The Sea
tight.
Kings are maybe just an outside force. I've also heard that like the Heart Pirates are gonna save him one more time with their
Oh, the
submarine.
submarine.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
But it's hard to say what's gonna happen. I mean, obviously, like, he's not dead. He's not just gonna drown in the ocean.
No, yeah.
But it's tough to speculate what might happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see fucking. You just see Rayleigh swim up with him like,
I
let's
would
go,
I would
people. Like,
lose my shit if that happened.
let's go to Wano, Luffy. Let's fucking go. Like, if Rayleigh
Mm-hmm.
came into this fight, that would be nuts.
If he goes like, huh, it's been a while since I've been to Wano. Let's go see how it is, like
Yeah,
I'm
let's go
back.
see what's popping.
Yeah.
See
Ooh,
what,
man.
and it would be, I don't know. I feel like there was too big a connection between Odin and all the Roger pirates for like none of them to get involved here.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they
Oh.
are just an older generation kind of laying low. The
Mm-hmm.
Pirate King's crew, some of the greatest people out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's hard to say, but yeah, like my previous point stands, I guess, just there's a deep connection between Odin and them, and
Right.
knowing that he got killed by Kaido and his country is like under this kind of fucking thumb now. It's like, how could you not get involved?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Shoot.
definitely, definitely excited to see what happens in these next few chapters, and I want to see especially what the fuck is good. Like if they move away from this Kinemon stuff, which
Mm-hmm.
they maybe will. I don't know. I would like to see what the fuck is going on here
Right.
because I'm expecting to see his shit just like his fucking shit just got crunched down into his fucking hips.
Ugh. That's sad.
Mm.
I really like Kinemon.
That is really sad. I like Kinemon a lot too, man. And he's got some really good moments,
Mm-hmm.
especially in Zoe. Just a moment that I can go back to all the time, and like
Mm-hmm.
it hits me hard is when they're saying like, "Yo, we can't beat Kaido. Like we need help."
Mm-hmm.
We let our lord down and fucking I can't remember the exact verbiage, but
Mm-hmm.
he basically breaks down to Luffy and like really asks him for help. And like I
Mm-hmm.
just remember that, man.
Yep.
Such a good moment.
Hell yeah. Great chapter.
Most definitely. Shinobu's got to get the fuck up out of there as quick as she
Yeah.
can because
Mm-hmm.
I mean Kaido's on her heels. Like he just
Yeah.
dealt with Kinemon one fucking Oh, I just can't believe he really put both hands on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Why'd he do that? I feel like he didn't even do that for the Bagua.
Right. Right.
Like
Mm-hmm.
he really was like, wow, like why?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Shoot.
I guess it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying like, "Oh, there's gotta be some deaths in Wano." So
I would agree. I think there should be some deaths in Wano to
yeah,
because if it's a war, people are gonna die. You know what I mean?
people are gonna die. Yeah,
But Kinemon though,
yeah,
no.
Kinemon, man, fuck, and Kiku,
Yeah.
fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like, oh man, when Izo figures it out,
Yeah. That's gonna be
Izo's
heartbreaking.
Izo's about to go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And when fucking Suru.
Mm-hmm.
Suru finds out Kinemon got crunched like a fucking like a toothpaste tube. Yo, she's about to be so fucking devastated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's about all I had for this chapter.
Yes,
I'm
likewise.
just rambling on at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty then. That will do it for this episode of the Project Manga Podcast. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did, be sure to slap a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel while you're down there to keep getting fresh, hot content week to week. We here. Also, comment on the comment section down below. Let us know any thoughts you had or stuff we might have missed or whatever. The hero panel. Let us know if you recognize any of those heroes for sure. Also, as always, go ahead and take a look in that description box down below where you can find links to all of our individual social media accounts like Twitter, online communities such as Discord, links to listen to the podcast wherever you would normally listen to your podcasts at, and also ways to support the show, such as checking out our online shop or our Patreon. And with that all said, this will be another incredible episode of the Project Manga Podcast wrapping up. I'm your host, Eagle.
And I'm Nickums.
Sarabada.